All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, Jermell Iron Man Charlo calls out Terence Bud Crawford and says, after I get done with Canelo, I'm coming to get you. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 154-pound division where Jermell Iron Man Charlo delivers a message and says what a lot of boxing fans want to hear, which is that he's open to fighting Terence Bud Crawford. Now, before I get into the details of it, though, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, if you like the content, please consider hitting the subscribe button and hitting the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you are a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much for your continued support. It really does mean a lot. Thank you so much to everybody that supports in the super thanks and comes by the live streams that we do Monday through Friday. Actually, Monday through Monday, because we pretty much do them every day of the week. We boxing junkies over here. But let's get into this because looks like we could be having a very, very good couple years in boxing. This year has been just completely off the chain. One of the best years in boxing that I can remember in a very, very long time, where just fight after fight after fight is getting made. And one big piece of evidence of that is how the Jake Paul fight that took place with Nate Diaz did not get a lot of traction, at least not on my news feed. People that are interested in that, I'm sure everybody that, is into the celebrity boxing, knew about it and was into it. But me, I last weekend got this weekend, because it happened last night, just took a break because of the excellent fight that took place the week before that with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. And now that Jermell Charlo has made a statement on his Instagram, it seems as if, man, this thing could continue to go. Now, if you weren't familiar, Jermell Charlo is the 154-pound champion, undisputed champion at the moment. However, he will be stripped more than likely of the belt and it given to Tim Tszyu, who is the mandatory for the WBO belt. But after the win, and before the win, actually, of Terence Crawford over Errol Spence, Terence Crawford said that he wanted to move up and he wanted to fight Jermell Charlo. Jermell Charlo's response ringside was that, I'm going up to 168, I'm already gone. But in a Instagram post today, Terence Crawford, Jermell Charlo said, when I get done and I make history, man, I'm getting so annoyed with this make history stuff. Just make the fight. How about you just let the historians worry about the history and you make the fight? But Jermell Charlo says, after I make history by beating Canelo, I'm gonna come back down to 154. And after you fight my boy, rematch my boy, Errol Spence, then I'll fight you at 154. Now, that fight, let's assume that Errol Spence, Terence Crawford gets past Errol Spence Jr. in a rematch. I'm sure a lot of people think that is a foregone conclusion, but this is boxing. Anything can happen. But he would definitely be very, very heavily favored to win that fight, considering the way he won the last one. And so let's just assume for a second that that happens, and then and they fight in December. Arrows do believe that Jermell Charlo is fighting Canelo Alvarez September 30th. So they go into a fight in the beginning of next year, let's say somewhere around April or May of next year. That would be a great fight. Great fight. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that will say Terence Crawford will mop the floor with Jermell Charlo. Easy fight for Terence Crawford. Man, let me tell you something, man. People said that there was a size difference between Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, that Errol was the bigger man. I didn't really see that in the ring. minimal height difference, really minimal size difference between the two. As somebody that has been next to Jermell Charlo personally, let me assure you, and I've been next to Terence Crawford, Jermell Charlo is significantly bigger than Terence Crawford. Not just a little bit. I mean, a whole lot bigger than Terence Crawford is. Not that means that necessarily means he's going to win the fight, but I'm telling you, that's a completely different animal than Errol Spence Jr. is. And I don't really need to hear about what happened in sparring and all that stuff with Jermell and Errol. Look, man, Jermell Charlo did not get to be the undisputed champion at 154 pounds for nothing. And if he is able to beat Canelo Alvarez, man, you are definitely talking about one of the best fights that can be made in boxing, and something that I would very, very much look forward to seeing. Not going to pick a winner in that because I'm not dumb. Terence Crawford is a very, very good fighter. Excellent fighter, the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Jermell Charlo ain't no softy. That is for dang sure, and he is big as a house when you compare him to Terence Crawford, and I guarantee you the punching power of Jermell Charlo is really something serious. Also, seeing as he would be facing a Derrick James fight trainer again. Derrick James has now been in the ring with him. They know how to prepare for him better than they would have known before. And that is something you see a lot in boxing, throughout the history of boxing. When a trainer sees a fighter a bunch of times with different fighters that they've trained, then the trainer themselves know exactly what to expect from that fighter. And man, it would just be an excellent fight. So that, to me, that's really good news. More fights, the better. Really, the more high-level, great fights, especially between American fighters. American fighters fighting each other is really, really good for American boxing. And at the end of the day, most of the people that are listening to this channel, that's really what we're talking about when we're talking about boxing. Even if there are people who are from different countries that come in, for the most part, they fight in the United States. Lomachenko fights in the United States. Bivol fights in the United States. Turbia fights in the United States. They may go over to the UK and take 1 or 2 fights. Vasily Lomachenko fights in the United States. I think he may have actually gone over to the UK to fight Luke Campbell. I could be wrong. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But, it's really I'm loving it for American boxing. And that's another fight that Terence Crawford would have with the PBC. And I think it's something that was really going to do him justice, because he's going to get paid a lot of money and he's going to get a lot of exposure, because those guys are going to sell that fight. And it also is a better bridge from the undisputed from 147 to 154 than it would have been if Errol Spence Jr. had won the fight, because Errol and Jermell fighting, that's a little bit harder to contemplate actually having taken place. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.